your screen and let's see what we got. Hello, hi, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching a very special edition of Open Bar. I'm Mike Morales here at Tequila Aficionado Central on the West Coast in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Skip Falconer in Los Angeles.
For those folks who don't know who Skip is, I'm going to introduce him. This Skip is our very first graduate from the Consumer Catador course. He has completed, actually, he will be completing every exercise in this book. Now, if you're familiar, if you've been following us at all, you know that this is our consumer tasting course that takes you from the field to the glass bottle, and you see Skip's glass bottle that we had arranged for him, and part of his final exam is he's going to dissect and take apart a tequila that he's never had before. So, but first, before he does that, I want you folks to get to know Skip and myself. I want to know where you come from, where did you hear about us, and why did you even bother with the course? What was all that about, man? First of all, where are you from? Where what's your background?
Originally, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, but I've been out in Los Angeles since 1976.
Oh, wow.
So you could say Los Angeles. Me and my wife came out here from the University of Connecticut.
Oh, wow. Does that make you a Husky or no? UConn. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really bad. I went to Cal Poly Pomona. It's like, who's a Bronco? What's that? So you've been here a long time then.
You're long time.
Go ahead.
What happened is my youngest daughter, who lives up in the Bay Area. She saw this book, and I was telling her about, she knew I was into tequila, didn't know much about it, was shooting it. And she got me this.
Oh, well. And is your daughter subscribed to our newsletter and to the website?
She's not.
Wow, where did she get that from? Oh my God, I'd love to find out where that happened.
She is the one that introduced me to tequila years ago. She brought me a bottle of Brown Julio.
Okay. I wondered if she took you to any of the tequila bars in the Bay Area, like Tommy's is like famous. No. Wow.
No. I needed a project. I needed something to do. I needed something to take my time away and I just into tequila.
Well,
it sounds strange, but
no, not at all. I for those of you that don't know much about the course in the Consumer Catador course, I'm there with every exercise. They send in their homework to me, and so Skip and I have been communicating for several weeks, a few months actually. As Skip, this is a self-paced course. Originally we were going to do this as an online course, but right before we knew anything was going to happen about the pandemic, my managing partner said, "Why don't we do this as a book instead?" And I said, "Well, I'm game," because I thought publishing that's where she comes from. She comes from the publishing, self-publishing side of the business. And so she took this over and put it on Amazon, and it's been bananas ever since. And so part of the course is you send in your homework to me, and we riff off each other back and forth. We check and see what the progress is for every student. So several students have communicated with me. But this is the first time that Skip and I have actually been screen to screen, face to face. Well, kudos to your daughter. That's amazing. That's a weird story. What did you think of the course as you were going through it? Did you anticipate it was going to be so involved, or?
I did not. I didn't anticipate it being so involved because all I did was with tequila was take it in a shot glass, shoot it, and suck on a line.
Wow.
I had no idea of uh, from the field to the bottle. It was very, very intense for me.
And how do you feel coming out of it now? Now that you're basically done, you probably have some extra reading to do, but otherwise, all your exercises are in, except for that last one. How do you feel now?
I feel good. I feel, knowing the different highland, lowlands, knowing the different aromas, the different flavors from the cooking of the agave to the distillation to the fermentation I had no idea what that was all about, but I feel real good about knowing, and I'm more of a geek.
Have you ever been to a tequila distillery?
Never.
Do you want to go?
I'd love to go.
Well, for those of you folks who are watching this, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Some of us have gotten all of our vaccines, some of us haven't yet. But as soon as it's safe to travel, that would be one thing that I would love to do with our tasters. Several of them have gone to distilleries. I've been to several, but it's been a few years since I've been back. And once you go, if you think your life has changed now, wait till you actually get at ground zero, where all the magic happens, and you're never the same. And I have 20. It'll be 22 years of tasting and sipping and dissecting that has come to this. What didn't you like about the course? I know I'm putting ourselves on the line here and ask. I always like to ask, what did you like? What did you find difficult or not? Did you wish was done a different way?
Well, the denomination of origins and getting into so much detail in that area was kind of difficult, but it's important. It's important to know where the agave is grown, in the land, but that was kind of
Yeah, that was more academic
about that.
Yeah, and I knew it would be. It was difficult to write because these sections for me when I wrote them, I love doing research. That's how I learn, and the people that we quote in the course are academics. These are people they're teachers, they're professors, they're researchers. And then when you take their information and you try to distill it down to the average person, you have to try to make it as interesting as possible, but you can't. Sometimes you just can't. You can't reduce it to a common denominator because there is so much. I think you've noticed there's a lot of politics involved, and there's a lot of, anywhere from politics to intrigue to how the normas, how the rules and regulations of tequila are understood and presented, and then how they're interpreted are two different things. It really brings a different perspective because I think it was necessary because a lot of consumers are a lot like you. I mean, I was that way too. I used to shoot Jose Cuervo. I mean, that's how we all cut our teeth on Cuervo, and then I had a buddy of mine who said, "Hey, you got to try this 1800." And it was worth more, and it came in a triangular bottle, but it turned out it was the same thing. It was still a mixto.
Right.
But even among that, there's a lot. There's just lots of aspects to this thing called tequila, and I kudos to you and your daughter for delving into this. What do you want to tell people when when they're considering getting the course or doing any of the exercises? What do you want to tell them? Because there are several that are in the middle of doing their course, and they're working, or maybe they're not, maybe they're mixologists. Things are opening up now, so people are going back to work. What do you want to tell these folks that maybe are considering taking the course? What do you want to say?
Just stick with it. It's fun. You learn about the gnomes, about the CRT, about the CNIT. It's just a lot of fun. For me, it was a lot of fun, and doing the exercises are really fun.
Which one was your favorite? Because I knew I did. I have a section in the book. It's called mouth yoga,
Oh,
and I figured that was gonna. I figured that was gonna be a toughie, because Lord knows I spit out more tequila out of my nose than I care to mention. Yeah, exactly.
it comes all out your mouth. It just ran off the table.
Yep.
My wife is screaming, "What are you doing?"
That's why we when we make the recommendation in the book to do the mouth exercises for tasting, we recommend that you use water, because that way, first of all, you're going to spill some tequila, but if you spill water, nobody cries, right? So
Yeah, that was a fun exercise. That was a fun exercise.
what now that things are opening up, especially in the LA area and Southern California, and you anticipate getting, when you get tequila, do you normally order online, or do you go to the stores physically? I know you and I talked about some of your stores, and you mentioned some of the really great ones in Southern California, which I'm familiar with. But what do you like visiting the liquor stores and going there? If you're like anything like me, I'd start going to the library or a bookstore. Yeah,
Yeah,
you just want to sit down or a cigar bar, right? You want to just sit down, have a cigar, you know, look at their library. Is that kind of what your thing is, or do you just order online and do that?
that's no, that's what I do. I go to the stores and just look and see what's new and see what's old and
Do you look for treasure bottles? Are you a collector as well? Because you had some of the tequilas that Skip was using were some of the ones that serious collectors and connoisseurs really go after. So are you one of the? Do you consider yourself one of those guys, or?
yes, I do collect them, but I have to say, again, I've been married for 50 years. Well, I've been with my wife for 50 years. And she wants to know where all these bottles are going. So some of them I have to get rid of. But I do have a few, I like the pretty bottles.
Yeah, yeah. That seems to be the attraction, is the pretty bottle. Have you ever been to the MGM in Las Vegas?
Never.
No. There's a good guy there, Cesar Ramirez, who's the head buyer and bartender and jack of all trades, and he runs it used to, I forget what the name of the place is called. It's changed names several times, but he seems to stay there all the time. From what I can tell, he has the largest collection of tequilas I've ever seen, and I know a couple of big collectors, but he knows his tequila. So if when things open up, and if you feel like taking a trip and sticking it out at the MGM, he's definitely your first stop. You know,
Oh,
unless you go to the Bay Area, then go to Tommy's. Because that would be the stop. That is like the shrine of tequila. At least in California, it is. It's a big destination location, and I hear the food's awesome. So
mm.
that's us. Anything else you want to say to us before we sign off, Skip?
No, it's just when you take the course, have fun. It's a great course to have fun with.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Skip Falconer, our first graduate from the Consumer Catador course. If you stick with this, we'll be back. You're going to see Skip take his final exam. He's going to do what we have been doing for 20 some odd years now. He's going to dissect a tequila that he's never had before with no information other than what's on the label. And this will be fun for me because I know what it's like. And it should be fun for you folks. So you've been watching and listening to a really special episode of Open Bar. It's kind of in two parts, but stick with us. We'll come back with part two, and Skip is going to tell us all about his tequila that's sitting in front of him. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Skip Falconer, Los Angeles.
And you've been watching and listening to Open Bar here on all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to follow us if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and whatever you do, sip wisely.